Hey guys, welcome back! If you're new here, I'm Christina and this is what we're going to do today. This simple scene is heavily inspired by one of my previous explainers. As usual, we start with Adobe Illustrator. I already have a color palette selected, one pair of contrasting colors and two additional colors that are quite close to each other. They all sit on the same layer. Now I add another layer and draw a big rectangle. It's our background. With the eyedropper tool, I select that light blue color from the color palette. Let's rename our layers and lock them. Now let's add another layer and draw a horizontal line. Let's select a dark blue for the stroke color, make the stroke a bit thicker, and turn the line into a dashed one. We can use the direct selection tool to select a particular point or several points of a shape and change their position. Here I decided to make the line a little longer. Then duplicated the line and aligned them both so that they were centered. Then let's draw a vertical line and a rectangle next to it. Using the direct selection tool, we select one of the points of our rectangle and simply delete it. And then we make the corner round, like so. The stem of our plant is ready. Now let's make some leaves. For that we draw an ellipse and a rectangle next to it. They should overlap like so. We select both shapes, go to Pathfinder and select Divide. After this procedure, we right-click on the object, select Ungroup and delete the unnecessary side, like so. You can totally use the Shape Builder tool for this, but I still prefer an old-school Pathfinder. It's just a matter of habit and you can use whatever works for you. Then I reflect the half ellipse and now we have both sides of our leaf. One side should be lighter and the other side should be darker, so we can simulate the highlight and shadow. Now we are creating the sun using the circle and star tools. You will find the star tool in the same menu where rectangle and circle tools are. There is no shortcut for it. Then we add another circle, which is slightly larger in size than our previous one, and make it the same color as the background. Then we move the star behind this blue circle. Let's select all three shapes, align and group them. Then let's duplicate our leaf as many times as we want and make a composition. And as a final touch, I'm adding a few accents. These are just simple circles, but note that they differ in size. Lovely! Our illustration is ready and we can prepare the file for animation. To do this, we need to put all the objects that we want to animate on separate layers. I usually rename every first layer in a cluster of objects. For example, the first layer in accents, the first layer in leaves, the first layer in lines, etc. It helps me to color code faster afterwards. Alright, let's jump into After Effects and import our vector file. Remember to import it as a composition and retain layer sizes. As you see, here are our layers, some of them renamed. Since I mainly work with vector layers, I usually make them all continuously rasterize, so that they're not blurry when I zoom in. It's this little button here. I also don't think I need that long of a scene. Let's trim our comb to 5 seconds. One of the first things I do is color coding. Again, it's just a habit that's actually very useful. However, in this particular project, perhaps we could also skip this step, as we won't have many layers and pre-comps. Then I pre-comp some layers, listening to my voice of logic. Now you can see that we have 4 layers, all of them containing lines. What we need to do is right-click, create, and select Create Shapes from Vector Layers. Now we suddenly get 4 additional layers marked in blue, and our vector layers become hidden. From now on, we won't need them anymore, but usually I don't delete them completely, but just hide them from the timeline. It's this little button here. Alright, let's animate the sun, and we start with its scale parameter. I like the rather noticeable easing. For round-shaped objects like the sun, I think rotation is a very appropriate movement that can happen just in the background. It won't add anything special to the story, but such small movements, a little here, a little there, add some texture to the animation as a whole. Thus, the scene will consist of many small elements, and each element will have its own life. This is our goal. It's much more interesting to watch. Okay, let's add a trim path effect. We go to the Add, Trim Path. Now I'm trying to figure out which parameter should I animate. Is it the start or is it the end? In this case, it's the start, because our branch grows from the main stem out to the sun, not backwards to the stem, right? And we add the keyframes. In this particular case, it's from 100 to 0. Then we should go to the Group, Stroke, Dashes. And under the dashes you will find the Offset parameter, which is exactly what we need to animate to add this little background movement that I mentioned earlier. By the way, if you press U on your keyboard, you'll reveal only keyframed properties. A really handy shortcut. And the best thing that saves so much time is that we can just copy and paste all the keyframes to our main stem. When it comes to horizontal lines that symbolize the ground, I guess, I don't animate them at all. I just copy my stem and rotate it, and adjust its length a bit. Because I'm obsessed with saving time and doing less wherever I can. But we can play around with keyframes and make some small adjustments so that the lines are not identical but have their own, let's call it, individuality. Alright, the leaves. For some reason I hate animating on a black background and I always change it. This step is absolutely skippable. First we need to change the anchor point of each leaf. You can select snapping if you wish, I decided not to use it. And we animate the scale from 0 to 100. We moved the anchor points to make an illusion that the leaves grow from the stem. Because if they just appear without any connection to the stem, well, it's possible in the world of explainer videos, but small touch like this is just nice, looks nicer. I always add a little bit of anticipation so that the leaves don't just increase in size to 100, but there is another keyframe before 100, which is 115 or 110. And finally, we add a wiggle expression to the rotation to make the leaves sway in the wind. Again, I find the numbers that suit me and copy-paste them onto other layers. Displacement in time is needed for the leaves to appear one after the other following the growth of the stem. Let's check. The same applies to our main comp. I displace all the layers a little and thus prolong the revealing time of the scene. I'll speed up the part where I animate our accents. It's almost the same animation we did for the leaves. They just don't rotate, because they're perfect circles, it won't be visible. Alright guys, that's it for today. Let's have a look what we have here. I think it looks fabulous, really like it. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Subscribe for more tutorials and I'll see you next time. Bye!